On this summer evening, the air is crisp. The sky outside my window is still holding on to the last bit of light. And as I sit down to record this episode, my cat has joined me. He's curled up nearby, watching every move I make. Surprisingly, he's a huge fan of water and honestly, the unofficial producer of this show. He has excellent supervision techniques, especially when it comes to knocking a glass of water off the counter. Welcome to The Whirling Mind. I'm your host, Carl. Please treat what you hear in this episode as ideas to explore, not as medical or professional advice. This podcast is here to spark curiosity and reflection, not to diagnose, treat, or replace professional care. On today's episode, we will dive into the connection between water and the mind. This will connect to the previous episodes I recorded on water and light. I hope that you're finding these simple tips useful. Please comment on what you want to hear in the future, and I will do my best to accommodate, as long as the request is related to ancient practices being revisited as science-based facts today. Sometimes I think we've got it backwards. We walk around like we are solid, like we are stones. But we are not stone at all. We're closer to rivers in human shape. Most adults are about 60% water by weight, and babies are even more, closer to 75% when they are born. Your brain, your heart, your blood, they are all mostly water too. So when we talk about mental health, we are really talking about how well the water inside of you is flowing. Let's talk about how you are a walking body of water. If we could zoom in on you right now, we'd clearly see it. Your brain and your heart are roughly three-quarters water. Your lungs, your muscles, even your blood soaked in water, carrying oxygen, sugar, hormones, everything you need to stay alive and feel alive. The water isn't just filler, it's the medium your body uses to send signals, move nutrients, clear waste, and keep your temperature steady. In your brain, water helps nerve cells fire properly and keeps blood flowing through tiny vessels that feed your thoughts and emotions. So your mind isn't some dry little thing sitting in the dark. It's more like a tide pool, electric, moving and very sensitive to how much water is around. What happens when you are just a little dry? Let's talk about something very ordinary, being just a little dehydrated. Scientists called it mild dehydration when you've lost as little as 1 or 2% of your body's water. You might not even feel very thirsty at first or at that point, but your mood and your brain are already changing. At the University of Connecticut, researchers gently dehydrated healthy young adults by about 1.5%. That tiny change was enough to cause more headaches, more fatigue, more tension, and more trouble concentrating. People also felt more anxious and more irritable, and everyday tasks suddenly felt harder than they should. It wasn't that they became bad at thinking. They could still do the task, but they felt worse while they were doing them. So, think about how many days you've blamed your mood on stress, when actually your brain might just have been running a little bit dry. The good part is it's reversible. When people rehydrate, their alertness improves and tasks feel easier again. So maybe your water bottle isn't just for fitness. Maybe it's also one of your quiet mood support tools. Again, this is not medical advice, just an invitation to notice how closely your mood and your hydration might be linked. Let's dive into what ancient people already knew: water as spiritual medicine. Long before we had lab studies and brain scans, humans already knew that water could change the mind. Think about ancient Egypt. The Nile wasn't just a river, it was a sacred being. Priests would wash or bathe in Nile water before entering temples, not only to remove dirt, but to wash away spiritual heaviness and impurity. In India, the Ganges is seen as a goddess. Bathing in her waters is believed to cleanse karma and bring emotional and spiritual renewal. In Christianity, baptism uses water to symbolize dying to an old self and rising into a new one. The Greeks and the Romans built entire cultures around bath. Roman thermae were social, spiritual, and health spaces at the same time. Warm rooms, hot rooms, cold plunges, in a sequence meant to balance the body and clear the mind. Archaeologists found the Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro in the Indus Valley, a huge, carefully built water tank probably used for collective ritual bathing. People gathered in water to feel clean again, not just on the skin but inside. Across all these cultures, the pattern is the same. You step into water to step out of guilt, grief, fear, and old stories. You come out feeling new. I want to talk about the blue mind and why being near water feels different. Marine biologist Wallace J. Nichols uses the phrase "blue mind" to describe that calm, gentle, slightly dreamy state many of us feel when we are near, in, on, or underwater. In one big UK study, a smartphone app pinged around 20,000 people and asked, "How happy are you right now? And where are you?" On average, people were significantly happier when they were in coastal or marine environments compared to cities. In North America, research around the Great Lakes show that communities with better access to lakes and rivers tend to have better mental health indicators overall. Reviews of many studies say the same thing. Time in blue spaces, like oceans, rivers, lakes, even canals, is linked to less distress, better well-being, and lower anxiety and depression. Part of this is something called attention restoration. Screens demand hard focus. Water invites soft focus, watching waves, ripples, reflections. It holds your attention without straining it. On a physical level, being near water is linked to lower heart rate and blood pressure, and more activation of the rest and digest side of your nervous system. The sound of water, the smell, the play of light on the surface, it all whispers to your body, "You're safe, you can breathe." And even if you are far from the ocean, there's more good news. Watching videos of aquariums or marine life can lower anxiety and heart rate compared to neutral videos. The sound of waves in your headphones or a simple fountain in your room can still give you a small dose of blue mind. Let's travel all the way to China and speak of Feng Shui and the water element. I want to weave in another layer of wisdom from Chinese culture, Feng Shui, and traditional Chinese medicine. In Chinese thought, there are five elements: wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. Each element is connected with organs, seasons, and emotions. water is linked with the kidney and bladder, with winter and with the emotion of fear, but also with courage, death, and inner strength. When your water element is balanced, it brings calm, resilience, and a sense of inner wisdom. When it's out of balance, it can show up as chronic anxiety, phobias, and a deep exhaustion that rest doesn't seem to fix. In Feng Shui, water is a symbol of flow, of wealth, opportunities, and emotional movement. A balanced water element in your home is said to support peace of mind, creativity, and spiritual searching. Some practitioners say the water element represents our emotions. If the water in a space is stagnant, your feelings can become stagnant too. Stuck fear, stuck grief, stuck anxiety. That's why water features, a fountain, an aquarium, and even a small water bowl are used in Feng Shui to keep energy moving and soothe the nervous system. The gentle sound of moving water lowers stress, lifts mood, and creates a sense of harmony in the room. There are also placement guidelines. For example, water near the entrance or in certain directions like north or east is said to support career health and emotional flow, while too much water or water intense spot can feel heavy or draining. You don't have to follow every rule to feel the deeper truth. The way water moves in your space changes how you feel in your space. A dry, sharp room feels different from a room where you hear a quiet fountain and see light dancing on water. In traditional Chinese medicine, supporting the water element means honoring rest, winter, deep sleep, and quiet reflection, seeing rest itself as a medicine for fear and stress. And that lines up with what modern science is finding about water, temperature, sleep, and mental health. Remember again, this is cultural and philosophical context, not a treatment plan. If something here inspires you, explore it gently and if needed with professional guidance. I want to dive into bath, hydrotherapy, and showers as therapy. Let's link this back to your daily life. Hydrotherapy is just a fancy word for using water, hot, cold, or both, in a structured way for health. Mental health resources now talk about hot bath, cold plunges, saunas, and contrast showers as useful add-ons for depression, anxiety, and sleep problems when they are used safely. In Germany, one clinical trial used very warm bath around 40 degrees Celsius for people with depression. They did these hyperthermic baths twice a week, then rested, wrapped in blankets afterwards. Over a few weeks, the bath group had bigger improvements in depression scores and sleep than the control group. Another trial compared hot bath and exercise as add-ons to usual care. Both helped, but the hot bath group had a stronger and faster reduction in symptoms in the first weeks. Warm water immersion during labor has also been shown to reduce anxiety and change stress hormones like vasopressin and oxytocin, which tells us that the water can literally shift your stress chemistry. There are small but promising findings. They do not replace therapy or medication. They are not safe for everyone, especially people with certain heart or blood pressure conditions. So if this kind of hydrotherapy interests you, talk it through with a healthcare professional first. See it as something you explore with them, not instead of them. And then there's your shower. Most of us rush through it like another task. But if you slow it down, take 5 deep breaths under warm or cold water, even imagine stress sliding off your skin and into the drain, you've turned an everyday habit into a tiny ritual of nervous system care. I want to talk about swimming and moving in water. Water doesn't just hold you, it lets you move in a different way. Aquatic exercise, swimming, water aerobics, even winter swimming for some brave souls, is showing real mental health benefits. A 2022 review of many trials found that aquatic exercise led to meaningful reduction in mood and anxiety symptoms. Another review of dozens of studies reported that almost all forms of structured water exercise improve mental health, less depression and anxiety, better self-esteem, better overall well-being. Let's talk about how water supports you. Buoyancy takes pressure off your joints. So if running hurts your knees, you can often move freely in a pool. That shift can turn exercise from "this is painful" into "this feels possible." The steady pressure of water around your body and the consistent temperature also affect your heart and nervous system, often in calming ways. You are breathing, you're moving, you're feeling the water swirl around your skin. It becomes a moving meditation. Aquatic programs have helped people with chronic pain, stroke survivors, and children with developmental conditions, not just physically, but in mood and sleep too. Again, none of this is a prescription. It's an invitation to talk with a professional about whether water-based movement could be a good fit for you. I want to talk about all living beings and the feeling of water. If we zoom out past humans, the story gets even bigger. Life as we know it depends on water as the universal solvent, the liquid where metabolism happens. From your cells to your organs, chemistry runs in water. When your body starts to lose water, senses in the brain and the body notice. They change hormones, increase heart rate, and create the feeling we call thirst, part physical discomfort, part emotional unease. Thirst is like an ancient mood signals. Find water or nothing else matters. Animals use water to regulate how they feel too. Birds bathe, mammals wallow in mud and water to cool down and calm down. Pets seek shaded puddles or cool tiles when they are stressed by heat. It's the same instinct that takes you to the beach after a hard week or into a hot bath after a long day. You're answering the same old call. Come back to the water. Let it reset you. Bringing it all together. So, what do you do with all of this? First, remember you're not separate from water. You are water, temporarily taking the shape of a person. That means simple things like staying hydrated are not trivial. They are part of mental health hygiene. Drink regularly. Watch that your urine is a pale straw color, and consider drinking a little more on days when life asks a lot from your mind. Secondly, you can reclaim small water rituals. Turn your daily shower into a short ceremony of release. Give yourself a warm bath some evenings, knowing there is research that hot water can support mood and sleep. Take regular walks by rivers, lakes, or even city fountains and treat that time as therapy, not just scenery. Third, you can make your space a partner in your healing. Maybe that means a small fountain near your desk, a bowl of water with a floating candle, an aquarium in the living room. Feng Shui would say you are inviting in flow, calming emotions, and helping energy move again. And if you're working with a therapist or doctor, you can ask about safe ways to use water, hydrotherapy, aquatic exercise as part of your plan. Across cultures and across times, the story is the same. The priest stepping into the Nile, the pilgrim of the Ganges, the Roman in the bath, the Feng Shui master placing a fountain at the door, you and your shower after a long day. All of them trusting the same quiet medicine that water can carry away what that heart cannot carry alone. So next time you sip a glass of water or stand by a river or hear the sea in your headphones, remember, you're not just looking at water, you are water meeting itself. And as always, on The Whirling Mind, please take what resonates as an idea to explore and leave what doesn't. This was Cal for The Whirling Mind. Thank you for joining me tonight. I'm looking forward to bringing you another episode next week. If this episode has resonated with you, please subscribe and give the episode a like. And if you know someone who may benefit from this episode, please share. Thank you for listening, and I will talk to you again next week.